Got me say sit there. Don't you know I wanna hold you? Sit there. Mankind I control you. Yui. Yeah, here we go. Again. Don't you just love overcast skies? Nice and grey. It does wonders for the lighting in the video, in the vlog. The unchanging, constant carpet grey of the overcast skies over what's cloudy, misty, foggy, South London. Yeah? That's the grey that works in our favour. Yeah? It's all good. Anyway, this week, I've been looking at clickbait titles. Clickbait titles, because I've been noticing more and more professional videographers. Can I say videographers? Professional YouTube channels, or the ones that are established, the established YouTube channels, a lot of them are starting to use clickbait titles. I've noticed. What is that all about? I mean, surely this realm of photography, videography, media using the digital cameras is a genre of itself, you know. We have a target audience. Yet, for some reason, whatever it is, the established channels, a lot of them, I'm seeing these titles that, you know, you click onto them, you know. I dropped my camera and it exploded into a million pieces. Or whatever it is, you know. Whatever the clickbait title is. I'm no longer going to be doing photography. You click onto it and it's some clever use of the words, semantics or whatever it is, just to draw you in. And it just made me wonder what is happening where we have to start using, I say we, we don't have to, but it seems like the clickbait title thing is what's being used more and more. And it just made me look into it. Should I be using a clickbait title? My numbers are not that high. I have 13 followers. Or is it 14 now? Could be 14. Is 14 enough? Am I not worth it? So these are the things that, you know, I guess must be going through certain channels. You know, those who run the channels, you know, when you're looking at the numbers. And I try not to look at numbers, especially when you only got 13. But I try to focus and stay focused on whatever it is that I'm focused on my content, what I'm about. Still trying to work it out after all these 70 odd episodes, because I'm, you know, try and work in a more organic fashion where I'm feeling it out and feeling my way. So I just wonder, should I use a clickbait title? And I made some notes. I've got them down here and I can't really see properly because I haven't got my glasses on. Some of you might be wondering why doesn't he wear his glasses no more? I've worked out that dual pixel autofocus doesn't like when I use my glasses. It can't work out what my face is for some reason. Canon, you need to work on that. Anyway, I've got some notes down here and looking at the clickbait. It's not a new thing. It's not a new phenomenon. Even though clickbait, the word may be like the buzzword of now. It's not a new phenomenon because back in the day, in the newspaper days, because I used to work in production and design and all that, and we used to produce magazines and newspapers and all that kind of stuff. And you always had, back in the day, you had what they called newspapers and snooze papers. And the snooze papers were the ones that would send you to sleep when you read them. And the newspapers were the ones that were said to be exciting and, you know, you couldn't wait to find out what was going on. But when you really look into it, the newspapers, the ones that sent you to sleep, were the ones that had all the facts. the ones that had all the figures, the ones that backed up what they were saying with research, you know? And the ones that were the newspapers, or said to be the newspapers, were exciting. Those are the ones that were dealing with all the spiel, you know, all the sensational headlines and stuff. They didn't need any facts. They just needed to say something that everybody wanted to hear and everybody would rush out and buy it. So it's the same argument, but just come back in another form. So when I look at it, you have to ask yourself, or I have to ask myself, what is my channel about? What is it for? Do I want to chase after the sensationalism thing? I mean, because once you've chased after it, right? Once you've clicked on it and you've seen that it's not real, that leaves a nasty aftertaste generally on the person who's done the clicking, right? Is that what we really want to do? Is that, I mean, are we in such levels of desperation, our numbers plummeting so fast that this is the only way to recover this little genre, this little area, this target area that we're dealing with of photography or videography or whatever it is, you know? So negative stimuli and clickbait are relations. They're very related. We seem to respond to negative stimuli more than positive stimuli. What is the purpose of that? I mean, what is the reason for that? Are our lives so boring, so mundane, so humdrum, that any little bit of excitement, whether it be true or not, is enough to draw us in? It seems so. It does seem so. Is society self-destructing under the weight of humdrum and mundane? Yeah. Going back to looking at, you know, the channels that are using the clickbait. Could it be that people who are interested in photography and cameras and video are growing in, not in terms of numbers, but in terms of knowledge? There's so much knowledge online that, you know, you can have beginners who can catch up to you in knowledge really quickly. And if you haven't got anything for them, they're gonna bounce and go somewhere else. So, you know, is this the reason why people are turning to this clickbait thing? You know, is that what it is? You know, we can't attract people anymore with what it is that we're saying. We have no information to share anymore. So we just got to talk stuff. You know, the last couple of months with the releases of the mirrorless cameras and stuff, I think that's done a lot of damage in our sphere. It's done a lot of damage because there was so much stuff being, what's the word? Vomited into this space. And now it's left a vacuum. Now all the cameras out, nobody's got anything to talk about because they've got no cameras to bash or no systems to bash. You know, remember, DSLRs were supposed to be dead. Go back a couple of months. DSLRs are finished. But now, all that hyperbole and all that releases have been, you know, they're all out there. We can see that that is not really the case. I actually went out and did some street photography with my 6D. This is actually a 5D because I'm filming with the 6D. But I actually went out and done some street photography with my 6D the other day, and it was great. It felt really good. I forgot what it was like. You know, it was having everything under my fingertips. You know, usually with the M50, it's because it's got limited buttons, and I have this, the aperture and the shutter button. You have to share it, and you have to click a button to select between the ISO and the shutter and the aperture, and you know, it can get annoying sometimes, you know. But going back to using this baby, it was really nice. I really enjoyed it. Not that I'm gonna keep using this for street photography, but you know, we need to move on now. It's time to move on. You know, a lot of people have caught up in terms of knowledge, maybe not experience. Maybe that's the area that we need to move into, sharing more experiences and not worrying about the numbers. Because when you start worrying about the numbers, the clicks, and they become more important than the content, I think that's where it starts nosediving. That's where everything nosedives. You know, there was a point where newspaper sales, become more important than the content. And I think that's the crossover, where you cross over into this realm of fantasy, where you will use any tactic you can to reach those numbers. Yeah. So it's important to remember about the content and the content of those who are watching the channel, the content of the target audience. Does that make sense? The content meaning what these people who are watching your channel, who are your followers, that they're not just numbers, they're actual people. They have content within them. They are actually rounded people with lives. And they're not just there to click the button and make the channel look like it's really popping and flying. Basically, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. We got algorithms now. I'm sure we've always had them, but the algorithms always seem to be changing, and they seem to be working against the growth and development of a channel connecting with people, real people. That's what it seems like to me. It seems harder and harder to reach people who are interested in the things that we're interested in our little world of media and multiple media and gear and content and different genres of photography. You know, these are just some musings that's been going through my mind lately. And it seems like we're losing the battle because we're measuring it on numbers. Yeah. So we got ethics, we got morals, and all these things going out the window, out the window, as we chase after the clicks. And I think what happens when you go in that direction, what happens is your channel becomes a contemporaneous beast. Meaning, this time next month, if you watch what you uploaded last month, it will have no relevance to the world of photography, videography. And that's bad. I would like my channel to be one where people can watch it this year, next year, year after that, and watch some old stuff and still gain something from it. I think that's important. Well, that's important to me. I think everybody's got to work out for themselves which direction or what is important to them, But just imagine looking at the videos about the mirrorless camera releases of this year, next year. Will anybody be watching those? Will they just be taking up space online? Will they even be online? Remember last week, was it last week, week before, I was talking about Flickr and how that space is no longer going to be free. And I just get this sense that the whole of the internet, maybe not the whole of it, but YouTube in particular, is going to be going that way soon. So a lot of this stuff that we are uploading, that we are sharing, might not even be around for much longer. It may not be there. Just imagine. If that's the case, I don't even want to think about that, to be honest, because that's just too horrible. That's too horrible a thought. Yeah. But the clickbait thing, the where you will fake stuff, you will fake news, you will fake happenings just to get people to click, is really a continuation of some of our lives, we come online and we portray a certain image in this frame. We may have a room set aside, a little space set aside to share our lives with those of you who follow. And outside of this square, it might be devastation and wreckage. You know, we might require counseling. Yeah. We may have wives who have left us and fighting over children and all kinds of nonsense, but we present this nice face. So that's a continuation of the fakery, the fake world that YouTube channels can be, you know. So how closely do our on-screen presence represent or match the presence when the camera's not on? Yeah. When you see me bopsing down Brixton Road, am I still the same person bopsing down Brixton Road, or am I just some mad, crazy person, which is possible, who only presents a certain face online? These are things that I'm really thinking about. I'm really analyzing. You know, the selfie. When people take a selfie, they only show their best side, don't they? You know, you can straighten up your hair, get rid of all your blemishes, and, you know, that little bit of grey hair can cut it off. And just present what I want to present. And that's one of the reasons why I love street photography, because street photography just captures the raw, it captures the real, or it can capture the real, you know, if it is done in the way to capture the real. Other forms of photography, even if you imagine portrait, when you do portrait photography and you get somebody in your own environment and you set it up and you've got them sit in a certain way and you you're in control of everything, in control of the space and time. That's really a kind of false image in truth, or it can be a false image. It's like a CV, it's a prepared image that we want you to see. You know, and somehow that's kind of related, you know. Even in wedding photography, where everyone's dressed up to their nines and everyone looks their best and smiling at the camera, you know. I hate you over there, but smile up in the camera. You know, we're hiding this fakery and this falsehood to present an image that's not real. Yeah, I remember once I used to assist a friend of mine, a colleague, who he videos weddings. And years ago, he asked me to, you know, man a camera, be second camera. And I remember we videoed this wedding. It was in East London. And I remember it was snowing. It was January or February. And everybody was dressed up to the nines. But there was this undercurrent of hatred because the two families did not like one another. Never forget this wedding. And it just went off all day long. You know, you could see him smiling, but right at the end, right at the reception, never forget this. The moment the bride threw the bouquet on the dance floor and it was caught and the cameras went off, it just broke off into the biggest Wild West fight you had ever seen. And I mean, everyone was fighting. The bride, the bridesmaids, the groom, page boy, this family, that family. It was amazing. I've never seen anything like it. And it just goes to show, you know, that we all, you know, talking about ethics now. We're talking about having ethics and morals. And we talk about it and we act like, yes, we must have morals and ethics in our photography and in our videography and be careful where and how we point the lens. But we don't even have it in our lives most of the time. We won't show the real you and the real me. And we'll present a face. And I've kind of gone off the topic a bit. But it is kind of on the topic, you know. You know, should I use a clickbait title? That's a moral issue, isn't it? That's a moral question. Should I use a clickbait title? Obviously, people are using them, so the morals and ethics don't come into it. Me not think. But it's one to ponder, and I'm pondering. Deep. Me say fi see, they see, they see, they don't you know I wanna hold you.